Miss Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Miss Universe podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Miss Universe podcast.
Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. In today's podcast, we are actually going to be in reflection here today. I'm recording 3 podcasts. We're Friday. Woohoo! A week ahead, actually, which is nice. So I'm going to be able to put it on a scheduler so I don't have to scramble for missing those weeks. I know. Learning to be disciplined. I was disciplined. And a year ago, everything got put upside down, and now we're back on being disciplined to do some of the things I love to do, because podcast is one of the things I love to do, talking and letting the universe and thoughts coming out and being able to share something that will inspire someone. If one person is inspired, then that makes my day. So I was reading something very interesting that it says, and it's a quote, very often a change of self is needed more than a change of scene. And I have to agree with that, because when we set our mind in our own patterns to do the same thing over and over, and we are in dire need, we're lingering of changes we want in our lives. Change doesn't happen if we are not changing our own self. If we don't change our mindset, then the changes we are looking at will not happen, or it will be like what I call it, a half-baked. You want to eat, it's like making a beautiful chocolate cake. I love to make reference of food. Visualization is something I like to do, speak in imagery, actually. And when you have all of your ingredients, but we're missing one essential one, then your cake's not going to rise. If you're missing something that makes the cake what it is, it will end up to be a flop. Well, everybody wants changes. Everybody wants a better life. However, if you don't do the work, which basically it's your inner work, it's not outside. The outside will change based on your belief, based on your mindset. It will change. It always changed. But if you're still saying the same thing over and over, you want, well, let's say for a simple example, finance, and you want to have more money. You want to improve your financial situation that will help you to pay your bills, that will help you to have a better life, that will help you to go for vacations, buy a home, a car, whatever is the need of the finance. Remember, finance, money, wealth is an energy. Now, if you always said in your head, and I'm hearing it quite often, and I'm like, oh boy, putting my hands in my head, and I'm like, my head in my hands, not my hands in my head. I could do my hands in my head, but that I'm looking at it and I'm shaking my head saying, oh boy, here we go again. Well, when people said to me, and I've heard it many times, and that infuriates me inside of me, when people are saying, well, I don't care about the money. I don't care about having money. I had money before, and I don't have money now, but I don't care. Well, if you don't care, but you still want to have a lavish life, you're going to have a problem, because the way you're thinking is what you're telling to the universe. Oh, I don't want the money. I don't care about the money. But you're lingering for that lavish life. And it's like, well, if you're saying to the universe, I don't want it. But in the other hand, well, I would like to have the luxury to have a nice home. I would like to have the luxury to go on vacation. I would like to have the luxury to purchase a new car. Well, if you're spitting, like we said, why do you spit in the food or in your soup? You don't. You have to change the way you think. And quite often I'm hearing the same thing. Oh, money doesn't do anything. But you're struggling right now, buddy. You're not doing what you want to do. but you're still saying money is bad. But you want that money that is bad to be able to live a better life. So you have to match your words on what you want as a goal. Because it's easy to spit in the soup and just say, well, I'm in a bad relationship. I never want to find somebody else's. Everybody is bad, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what the universe is going to do? Bring you all of the trash on the block in your own little sandbox and say, well, this is what you wanted. So we're going to give you all of the ones that you do not want to deal with, because every single time you're saying, I'm attracting the worst. Everybody is bad. All of the mates that I've been dating is bad. The next one will be bad. Okay, well, this is what you're attracting. You are what you think. Okay? If you change your mindset, if you start to do your work on your triggers, work on where is it coming from? Was it because when you were a child you heard somebody saying this to you and that just imprinted in your brain and you took it as face value? Go back and search, where is the first time I heard that? How often I have seen my parents struggling because we were poor like dirt. And I never believed in that crap because I was in my own universe, my own bubble that saved actually my little brain and my own self in one way. That was my refuge, was my mind, my dreams, my goals. To avoid all of that crap. Yes, we were poor. That was a fact. They struggled. But I didn't want this to continue in my lineage. So I fought the things. I changed the way I thought. And I refused to take on their burden. But as a kid, you are at the mercy of the environment you're in. So if you have parents who are entrepreneurs, who are open-minded, great, you're going to do great in your life. But if your parents are controlling and the life you're living is not on the right side of the track, then it's going to take you some efforts to cross that track. To say, no, thank you, that's not what I want. Changing your mind will change your environment. You don't have to try to run away from it 10,000 miles away because it will still follow you no matter what. Different situation, different people. However, when you change your mind, you start to see things. It doesn't matter if you exist or not. Okay? And so, well, it's kind of hard to do it because, oh my God, imagine for a minute, I am dirt poor, blah, blah, blah. So what? Let the universe work its miracles. How do you think I did when my house was burning down like a freaking crisp? I didn't set the fire. No, I did not. Like I said to the universe that week, I said, you got a very sick sense of humor. Seriously. I was just asking the universe, I don't want to lose my house. I want to sell it, blah, blah, blah. Well, 6 hours later, burned like a crisp because somebody decided to do a fire. It wasn't in my house. But that's what happened. And you're looking at that and you said, okay, now I don't have a home. I'm seeing my house burning down. I have my car, my dogs, the clothes on that I have on me. I even, unfortunately, put my feet into the water, which now my feet were wet, so I didn't have a decent pair of shoes until somebody appeared out of the blue. Then I did not know who she was, Jerry. And she was a godsend. And the woman approached me and said, what's going on? I said, well, my house is burning. And I wasn't going to have a conversation with her because I didn't know who she was. And I'm like, I don't need to talk to people who wake up in the middle of the night and see this as a spectacle and don't give a crap at all. Nobody offers their home to me. And the people knew me for over 20 years, which is interesting. And I'm not angry at it. It's just show who people are. So you cannot have the anger to go with it, okay? If you do, well, you're adding more to the nightmare. But think about that perspective that when things happened, change has to happen in order for you to go on the right path. And this one is extreme. There was somebody on TikTok who made a comment about changes and people who, you got moved relocated or, you moved and it could be willingly or being forced. Well, that was a forced one, actually. It was just like, let's sweep it out and we'll be done. But you're looking at what the universe does when you start to think about this. Because again, and I can put myself back watching and pacing like a psycho. Literally, I was doing a trenches on the ground, asking God and asking the universe and said, you shield my house, you protect it from the fire. Oh, it did. It did, because the roof burned down. One thing that burned, and I talked about it, which is hilarious, is the modem from that little box from T-Mobile that burned down. That was the thing that burned down, and I'm like, and you're seeing those flames. You see the flame on the roof, you see the roof collapsing, you see your attic on the side, and you're looking at the attic, and the attic is like, I see some freaking flame. Okay, so those guys did not... Okay, they did not use the chemicals right away, just the water. And you feel like time is passing. And you're angry because you're like, come on, fire department, get your chemicals in there. Stop everything, blah, blah, blah. And some of them came inside, actually, and they started to break down stuff to stop the fire. But it was very interesting that as I was saying this, and I was like, well, protect the house, blah, blah, blah. And I was praying because I'm like, holy shit, I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know where I'm going to be. I had no idea. Imagine it's midnight, but it's 12:30 in the morning on a Monday morning. The only thing you want to go is go home and go to bed. It's not going to happen. You're not going to go home and you're not going to go to bed because your house became a swimming pool. Your condo became a swimming pool. So you're looking at this and you're like, okay, how can I keep it positive? You don't, but you lean on the universe and you become the observer, because the most interesting part of it for me is in a time of dire situation that was at work, working on project that were like a ho-ho since the beginning, and you're like, holy crap, everything's gonna go from down the crap very quickly from the first step of the projects. And you're like, okay, I am not going to put my emotions. I'm going to see where are the solutions here. That's what I do. That's why I am good at what I do in dire situation, because I don't go crazy, even though I was pacing back and forth and praying and asking the universe to shield my place, which they did actually against the fire. I should have thought about the other one was, water, because there were gallons and gallons and gallons of water being poured from about 1 o'clock in the morning or 1:45 until 7:30 in the morning, because I was there the entire night. Well, some others went to bed, which is fine, that's life. But you're looking at the situation and you're like, okay, what do I need to do? Where I need to go? I don't know. My pups did very well. I was surprised how calm they were in the car waiting for mama, and I was getting them outside of the car once in a while just to go pee, to just, make them go where they could relax a little. But Jerry opened her garage, so we were able to sit in a garage. I was able to get my dogs in a garage afterwards so they could relax with me a little bit. She gave me a pair of shoes and socks, because my shoes were so wet they went in the garbage. Actually, it stinks. Actually, when I was looking at them, I was like, okay, I got one pair ruined. And as the water was flushing everything from my condo, because it looks like a war zone. All of my shoes were out there on the lawn, the dog's toys, everything. And I'm like, great, everything is ruined by the water. But she was there and she started to do things. She started to put the puzzle and help me. So when you're in a dire situation where things happen and it's out of your control, then you need to relinquish that and let the universe put the pieces of the puzzle together. I have been saying for years, and other people have picked up that too. We're on a big chessboard that is our lives. This is the university of life. And you can go back to 2017 when I start to talk about this, 2018. It is the university of life. Okay, this is hell here. Welcome to hell. People are thinking hell is after when you die. No. This is freaking hell here. Meaning, you're going to fight for your life. This is brutal. This is one of the environment here we've got that really stronger spirit, stronger soul will stick here. The one who are not strong enough will leave before their due time because you can check out at any given time. And that's, again, a topic for another day. However, when you let the universe put the pieces together and you're not fighting it because you want your changes, you think you know better. No. The universe has a bird's eye view on that entire chessboard, and it impacts a lot of people. We always said when you throw something into the water, the ripple will be to somebody else's on the opposite end of the world. It is. Here, what happened is that by letting that person talking to me, because I had no idea who she was, no idea, and she opened her garage, did some stuff for me because I had no clothes, I had nothing. Was able to gather clothes, I would support people, furniture if I needed to, and I'm like, well, we'll deal with furniture later on when I find a place. Able to find, because her mother-in-law worked at a hotel, being able to get me in the hotel, and we did it for a week, which was nice. Opening a backyard from somebody who lost her dog, and I was able for that weekend because Mike was literally shutting down to be stuck in a hotel. He couldn't go home, and I never saw my dog shutting down, and he was shutting down when we went there. Being able to put the pieces, listening to the universe, listening to the voice, oh, you need to do this, and listening to that gut feeling, that little voice telling you you need to do this, and that. And I'm using what happened to me to explain to people how it works, because I got somebody who made a comment, and not a very positive one, said, well, you're always talking about things that happen to you. Yes, I explain this because there is somebody that needs to hear this crap that I went through, because they probably are going through the similar situation, different people, different intensity. But when you realize how things work, I became the observer. I was pushing a couple of things, but every person I met helped me because they fought for me. And she wasn't the only one, because the fire department chief I met, he directed me to somebody who was a phenomenal person. Absolutely adore her, because she came and met me at the hotel to figure it out. Okay, where do you go next? What can we do to help you to get back on your feet? And she was part of the police department for the communication, which was very, very nice to have somebody. I didn't know she existed. I didn't know all of this existed. But it's by way of domino effects. Okay? So when you're looking at changing things, you need to start to change yourself first. I became the observer to see how it works. And I was flabbergasted by, like, holy mother of freaking A. Wow. This is how it's happened. Becoming the observer and seeing all of those players, seeing people helping. If you're looking at synchronicity, if you're looking at things that happen to you, say, oh my God, somebody, I was at I went to the post office and I discovered something, or I met somebody, then I was talking to, and somebody heard me saying, well, I lost my job, and the person approached me afterward and said, oh, maybe I have a job probably in that company, we're hiring, blah, 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 and you get hired. Or somebody, you talk to a friend about something, or you post something online that you need to reach for help, and you will find the real people actually to help you. It's amazing. It's amazing to see how things happened. I have been amazed by everything I have seen in my life, because I'm realizing right here, right now, even now, I'm doing an therapy actually about abundances and stuff like that. And I'm looking at a bill. I'm going to tell you this one, actually. It's hilarious. I'm looking at two bills because my birthday was yesterday. So I'm recording it on the 7th of June. So now you know my birthday is 6/6. It's the portal. And funny enough, I'm going to give my age because I don't give a crap. I'm a Gen X. So I'm 55. And here in the US, and I am so happy actually, I'm like, it's hilarious. I'm going to have to show my ID to everybody because I don't look my age, which is a good thing. Okay. And yesterday, I called T-Mobile actually, and I said, "Okay, I'm 55 today. I want my senior discount." And they say, "Well, we cannot do it via the phone. You need to go to a store." It took me a while to find that store. I'm like, "Come on, universe, bring me to the store." So now instead of paying like $65, now I'm paying $45. And I'm like, yes, it's like $20 less. I'm like, I want my senior discount because you pay less. Well, I'm looking at right now State Farm, which mine was now it's $100, which is good for my car because I bundle with something else, not my home because my home is old, so forget it. But I'm like $100 instead of 132. I'm like, I'm saving money. Like, yippee skippy. But do things. I'm giving example of this now. I know it's it's hilarious actually. It's funny for me, but taking advantage of where you are. Seriously, I have no issue with senior. Now I'm gonna have to show my ID every year because I don't think people are gonna believe I'm 55. But it's hilarious when you do things like that. But back to changing our mind. When you change your mindset, when you really take the time to work on yourself and on what are you saying in your head. Are you saying, well, I could have gone to the victim side of it because to me, I went through a horrifying ordeal the entire year last year. It's been the dark night of the soul to the point I almost checked out, said, okay, I'm done here. This is a shit show. I don't want to stay here. I don't want to walk the earth anymore. I'm done with this crap. Well, interesting enough, I did not, and it took a lot in order to do this. Like I said, I'm like, holy crap. But the most amazing things, I appreciated what happened to me because, I'm a Gen X. So if you did not grow up between 1965 and 1980, you have not gone through the parents who have gone through the war and the way we grew up. But it was a very harsh environment. I am glad of that harsh environment because I would have not, like I said in my previous podcast, traded for the world. This is who I am. But having to face all of this and realizing I'm becoming the observer now, let's see how things are playing out. And seeing things happening in a way that I would have sat down, being a victim, being poor me, would have got me nowhere. Instead, after, I went back to the hotel, I don't think I slept. I think, took a shower, something like that, and went back to my place. I could not get in right away, so I took my dogs because I wanted to make sure my dog had a sense of routine that wasn't put upside down, which he was put upside down. So I parked my car where it was. And you see, the most horrible thing is to see people passing by with their car to see the spectacle. And you're like, really? This is somebody's difficulties and you are here to play something to watch because it's more interesting to see horrors. And that is not what you want to see when you're dealing with all of this. So it's trying to keep that routine, but going over there and moving one step at a time. Now, I'm going to say this. It wasn't that easy because I spent 2 months driving 50 miles one way every day, 7 days a week. So you can see how many miles I did. Digging through the rubbles and doing my best. At the beginning, it was every day. Then it was every 3 days. Then I did that. He was horrible, but you had to do what you got to do. It doesn't mean that it was easy because I had a breakdown mentally because I didn't know it was so overwhelming. It's like you got a plan, you showed up, and your brain froze. And it's like you inside, what am I doing? I don't know. So seeing the people helping, being there, and just moving forward. Now, when you think about what I'm talking about for today in regards of change yourself, change the way of the perspective and move forward, that you don't know where you're going to be. I had no idea what would happen to me, but I knew I needed to find a safe place. And I found the first one was the hotel. The second was a place, I must say, wasn't the best one in the world at all. At all. However, I needed that place to be the next step up for the transition. Now I'm in a place where I would say we're safe, thank God, on this one, so I can at least sleep. But it's still a transition place where I will continue to move because this is not where I'm supposed to be. But this is a transition place where I can finally clean up everything that needs to be cleaned up before I'm moving up somewhere else. So you have a cleaning to do. You have to, again, be flexible to face all of this. So if you don't change what you're playing in your mind, but don't expect any changes to happen anytime soon. Again, you can play the victim. You can spit on finance, on money. Money is evil, blah, blah, blah. Or I never had money. I never had this. I cannot pay my bills. Well, guess what the universe is getting from the message? You don't want the money, so we're going to block you. We're going to give you crap so you struggle and struggle. When you start to change your mind and said, I have plenty of money to spare and share. All my bills are paid off, and I have plenty of money for me to not only save it, but I'm taking trips. I have everything I need. I have my new car, everything I've got. I explain years later what I did with my the little one, which I don't spoke much about those stories, but one of them was 1 year. My sister had a car and has a hole where the pedals were. So imagine for a minute you have a hole in there. So when it's raining, well, the bottom of the car where you got your feet to accelerate or change gears or whatever, or brake, you have a hole in there. So she's putting cardboards, whatever the deal is. And she never told me until one day she finally told me. And I'm like, really? You decide to live in poverty like that because what? I said, well, let's do this. I said, you're going to get your car. And every morning when I went to work, I talked to the angel runners, because the angel runners are the one who get you things that you're asking for. And I said, every morning, I said it for a month. Every morning, I said, okay, so do this, and this. Today would be a beautiful, blah, 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 blah. And I said, for my sister, she got a car. She got a car. She's not paying for it. I'm not paying for it. She gets a car. And it's your problem to pay for it. And I'm saying this for a month. And after a month, my sister called me and said, you're not going to believe me. I said, what? What happened? Mom wants to buy me a car. I'm starting to laugh. And I'm like, that's awesome. And a brand new car. I'm not talking, what do you call it? A second-hand car. No, it's not a used car. Brand new. So I asked her, I said, what kind of car you wanted? So because she likes her car, she wanted the same car. I'm like, that's fine. So that was a little battle on this one. But within a month and a half, she got the same car she likes, the same brand, blah, blah, blah. But she never paid for it because Mommy Dearest did. So she gave her, I think, the range price, and it was within the range. It was way below the range. Then she was giving it to her. So she got the brand new car. Again, change the way you think. And I told her, I said, if you think negatively, you're not going to get it. And I said, let's do this. Let's have a little challenge. And it took 4 weeks before, over the rainbow, out of the blue, Mommy Dearest said, oh, I'll buy you a new car. And I was laughing. I'm like, here we go. So change your mindset in order for the scene around you to change. I have done with the little one a lot. Even if she didn't want to admit it a few things, I asked her to do specific things that started to improve her life. But she was so stubborn, she never wanted to admit it, which was funny because I put her nose in her own shit and say, oh, you're doing better now. What do you do different? Oh, I do this and that. I said, see, that works. And she's like, no, it doesn't. I said, yes, it does. Stop to be stubborn. But change your mindset. That will be what you need to do in your life. So this was our podcast for today, and we're going to call it Change Your Mindset. I love that title. And I have no idea what we're going to be talking on our next podcast, but this should inspire you guys, because regardless, and I talk about what happened in my past, and I said that before, and I will continue to say that to people. not to bring pity, because I don't give a crap about pity, about, oh, I'm sorry. I don't give a crap about a sorry. Seriously. Those are interesting life lessons that really shows you that if I can do it, everybody can. And it's a way for people to understand you have to see things in a bigger perspective. If you don't, then this is the same monkey and the same circus. I don't want that monkey. I don't want that circus. I don't give a crap about that monkey and that circus. Change your life, it change the way you think. Financially speaking, or like the same with people, I remember as well. That was during the mini recession we had 2014 or something like that. Everybody said, oh, there is no job, and you hear people, oh yes, there is job. I landed contracts. I landed a bunch of things that people say it's not possible. Well, if you say it's not possible because this and that, then guess what? Again, what you think is what's gonna happen. All right, you are who you are because of your thoughts. So stop to say it's not possible, blah, blah, because you complain after that, say, well, I don't understand, the person landed a job and I can't, and I can't, and I can't. Well, if you stop and said, I can, instead and I can't, that will change the way things are around you. One step at a time. Think about it. So, all my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.
Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
Emma's Universe Podcast.